Happy Frigg's Day. I want to reflect on sunrise at Coldrum. Now, whichever side of the discussion you want to be on about Heathenry and the Summer Solstice, that's fair enough. It's sometimes there are conversations and debates that aren't really worth engaging with. Yesterday morning, well, I should really say the night before yesterday morning, my wife and we made the decision we wanted to see the sunrise on the day of the summer solstice at Coldrum Long Barrow, a place we frequently go to join in with ritual with Kent Gorsed, and is a place that has meaning and importance to us. So we got up incredibly early to make the journey there. And it's interesting, really, just you have your expectations in your mind of like what that time of the morning is going to be like, and how dark it's going to be before sunrise, etc., etc. And I was worried we were going to be late, even though we'd checked when sunrise was due, and that even as we left the house, it was like the sky's orange. It's really quite light. It's not really that dark. And it's just an incredible time of the morning. It's a time that the words of Jim Morrison spring to mind. No one will forgive us now for wasting the dawn. We got to site. Okay, we got to the Coldrum Long Barrow without any issue. There's a few cars in the tiny car park that's there, and even on the way, I'd sort of said that it wouldn't surprise me to see other people there. Which, sure enough, as we started walking to the barrow, there was someone in the car park said good morning. We said good morning back. And then we sort of walked down the narrow track that leads to the barrow. And then as we got closer to the barrow, we could hear voices. So there were people there. And I was, it's good to see, good to hear. There'd been some people that had camped there overnight. They had a small fire burning on the mound, and there was maybe half a dozen people there, sort of waiting, staring towards the coming sunrise, which obviously we joined. It was a fresh morning. And we still had a bit of time before sunrise was due to happen. So I went to the stones and laid my hands on the stones and did a little bit of work, which is just sort of, in that moment was more personal, more private than something to share. It's one of those things you don't know what to expect, though you have expectations in your mind. I mean, I might have sort of jokingly said to my wife at one point, it's just like, we're kind of there waiting for almost like the Teletubby sunrise, that the sun's just going to go boom, appear in the sky and to just be this wash of magic. The thing is, however, it's more subtle than that. If, the sun appearing over the horizon can be anything except subtle. But we crossed the sunrise point, the official sunrise point, and you're there sort of, it was all focused on the sun. Or most of us were, because obviously I didn't. Well, I was watching for the sun, but we discussed how, the shape of the ridge, the causeway that cuts through Kent, if you like, was blocking the sunrise. And you then, as I frequently do, like with the poetic galleries, it's like I'm interested in the blank spaces as much as the detail. And we're all there for the sun. We're all there for soul. Let's make no bones about that. It's interesting that the barrow, while it's on the side of a small mound that's facing the hill, is exposed, I should say. Not facing, it's exposed to the sun coming up, the sky, I suppose. The entrance, what we perceive to be the entrance of the barrow, does not face the sun, certainly not on the day of the summer solstice. It's more off a tangent. And what makes this really interesting to observe, is that at the point that sunrise was due, or before it sort of managed to rise above the edge of the hill that was blocking view, you can see that the sun, its light is sort of off to the distance to the right, that the Barrow Mount entrance is facing, is hitting the clouds above the clouds and creating shadows on the tops of the clouds, so that it looks like another realm. I tried to take a photo of it, but it, I'm no great photographer. It did, however, you just see this glimpse of what looks like another land. And it's at that point you kind of have this triangular setup where I've got the advantage of science. We know the sun is hitting the clouds, blah, 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 etc., etc. And you wonder how, the people of the Neolithic era that created this burial mound would view that occurrence. And it strikes me that the mound and at this height of summer, sees that far off land, that the mound and the land are both points of transcendence, that they're gateways that aren't necessarily just one way, and they're there to create possibility, belief, because I can look at it from semi-scientific perspective, that it's just the clouds, it's the sun hitting the tops of the clouds creating shadow. And yet, the soul sees more soul. I mean, it's we see more by breathing in and experiencing the moment and just feeling the beauty and strength of nature in that moment. If I'm honest, I'm still processing it a bit because I've been thinking about it, and now I'm verbalizing it and making it more solid. And this is the thing that leads to, what we're doing tomorrow, and why I struggled a little bit to make a video yesterday, because I wanted to make a video yesterday and there were things that stopped me from doing that, and that's okay. It's I'm really tempering things. If I really do need to say it, it's tomorrow is the day for the thunder. The summer solstice was for appreciation of nature, animism, the divine, the gods, ancestors, and just listening and taking note of the beauty of nature. All told, there was maybe a dozen people at Coldrum, and there's probably people there that are sympathetic towards pagan leanings, some pagans, and some that probably are not pagan. For the most part, there is, an understanding and leaning alliance to nature. The people that, things like Restore Nature Now March that's taking place tomorrow means something. I'm acutely aware that nature is in crisis. And, you can say, you're just like, at moments like that, it's hard to believe. It's also, something to be aware of, that even those moments could get lost, like tears in rain. Because even though they're precious sites, precious locations, there's more to the world than that. There is a lot of bad going on. And there's a time to dwell on the good and a time to act. Acting, interfering with the dwelling of that is, shouldn't do that. That's all I'm really going to say in this video about Stonehenge, because I want to rage about that. Tomorrow is the day for the thunder. For now, it's like, nature, the world we've been given is a precious thing. It will survive without us. It'll endure without us. It might even be better off without us. We're better living in harmony with it. And, life is not harmonious at the moment. But it was nice to have the time there to experience it and to do my little bit of work that I did, and to see what happens next. Sunrise is a special thing on any day that you can see it, not just the summer solstice. It's difficult not to feel the awe and power of being at a sacred site at that moment on the longest day of the year, and to share respect for it. Thank you for listening, and there'll probably be some updates for tomorrow. You know, we're going to get a bit green and a bit thundery. Do take care. Goodbye.